Yo, welcome back. Covenant Culture Podcast,
That's
episode
right. Six.
Hey, once again, we just want to say thank y'all so much for kicking it with us, hanging with us. Thank you for sharing the podcast, our YouTube. Seriously, thank y'all so much. The reviews, please leave a review, comment. We appreciate that. We always want a dialogue. And so episode 6, what we talking about, babe?
What are we talking about?
We talking about
a couple shout outs for this one. I'll remain. They'll remain. Oh goodness, they will remain nameless. But this is a dating podcast.
Podcast. We talk about dating.
Yep.
And because it's a hot topic, always has been, always will be.
It might not be a hot topic. It just depends.
No, it is. Dating is always a hot topic.
It just depends on who you're dating, babe. If it's a hot topic or not.
And truth of the matter is, we've been doing this relationship space for a while.
Yeah.
And the stories of the pain from people swiping right is for real. So we finna just lay some principles down.
That's the right direction. What if it's the left? You don't even know.
It's right.
How do you know?
You start right, you swipe left.
How do you know?
Right.
I think you're missing the question here. You should have no idea.
Works.
All right, I'll allow it.
Yeah.
But I hope you're wrong.
Yeah. Not right? Yeah. Our producer is saying swipe right. Yes, he knows. He's single.
Okay.
So
just don't want you
dating,
to know all the details.
Hot topic, a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Let me just lay a foundation with this. If you don't know who you are, you'll settle for anything.
Yeah.
So I think if we was to lay any foundational principle for dating, it's know who you are.
Yeah.
You never want to make an emotional decision from a broken place. So a lot of people dating for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Right? So my dad wasn't present. You don't know what the males did in my life. So you think another male might fill that void.
Yeah.
Or a guy. Because I didn't deal with the pain in my heart, I can take it out on shorty. Right? So I think the first principle of dating is knowing who you are.
Yeah.
The other side of that is knowing whose you are. So if God ain't first,
yeah, it's going to be difficult.
It's going to be difficult.
101, what we always say is date to character, right? Because not everyone can age so finely. Ask yourself, sir. Some of us need a little extra help.
You look good, babe.
But the truth is, if you're dating to character, to what actually truly matters, then love doesn't fade. You don't fall out of love. We know that that's not real love anyways.
Yeah.
But it does help if you can get that in your mind, first of all. This is based on who you are, how you respond, the little quirks about you.
Yeah.
Those are the things you're interested in, the nature of a person and how they handle life in tough situations, right?
And we're not necessarily talking about personality. We're talking about character. We're talking about the real you when pressure is applied.
Yeah.
So if you're in a relationship dating someone and y'all haven't gotten a heated argument or you haven't seen them mad, you don't really know who they are. It's pressure that reveals who a person really is, right? So if you in 6 months, you're like, oh my, I mean, he's awesome. I mean, I've never seen him get mad. No, shorty, you better let him get mad because that's who he really is, right? That's what we mean date to character. Like, how do you respond when friends are around? How do you respond in the presence of your parents?
Yeah.
Fellas, if she don't respect her dad, she ain't gonna respect. Who are you? She ain't gonna respect you.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous that we ended relationships right after that. Actually, it used to be, remember this? It was a joke. Anytime someone would come to us with their relationship, they'd be like, just prepare. Once we go to the Crawfords, we're breaking up. Like, we don't want to be known. I actually I'm all for love.
Right.
But it is true. Like, there are hard truths that you need to handle. Recognizing, seeing their family dynamic, that's not always fair because they're not always like them. But it is important to take into consideration because their family becomes yours as well.
Absolutely. Which is another great point is you're not dating for nothing.
Yeah.
Every relationship starts with a goal in mind.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a desire to be married, you probably shouldn't be dating. I'm just going to keep it 100. 'Cause where's that going to lead to?
Boys.
If you got these pent up physical emotions, hormonal feelings, and you're in a dating relationship with not the intention of being married, what's the point?
Yeah.
Right. And I think it goes back to knowing who you are. If you solid in Christ, like you know who you are. And this is just real, man. We've been on every side, from counseling pro athletes who got everything the world thinks they need, to helping college couples sit in our living room who want to discover to say, is this the right person for me? So we've been on both sides of the spectrum. So we bring a little wisdom and knowledge to this space. Yeah. Right. We are not professional counselors. Let's just throw that out there once again. We are biblical counselors. So our calling is to bring to light the principles that has stood the test of time for eons, which is the Bible. So if you know who you are in Christ, your identity is sealed. He's working through you. His spirit is vibrant in you. I believe he will give you discernment on a yay or nay when it comes to dating, right? Let's say you get a yay. It's your responsibility now to let character be revealed. You know what I mean? Because most people, when it don't work out, blame God. When God may have given a green light, but green lights don't stay green forever. God might have to, at times, or give you a yellow light. He might give you a red light. So you got to be discerning if this is the person for you. And I'll just go personal. You feel me? I knew you was for me, shorty. I had all green lights the whole way. No, I knew that what was in you, I needed for my future. Yeah. I knew what was in you, I needed in my life. And when I saw your love for God, that was easy for me. Yeah, you beautiful, physically, everything I desire, all that good stuff. But it was your character that I knew if I can get shorty for life, I'm a win. You know what I mean? And so I think even in working on me, I was at a point to where I knew at least what I needed, not just what I wanted. Can I touch you right there? What's wrong? You hot? Warm. You hot, Doc? I am brown. I bring a little heat right here.
You do. I like it.
Does that make sense though, what I'm saying? So loving God, knowing who you are, being discerning. It's not just about personality. It's not just about physical, which that may play a part. But I think entering a relationship with the motive of someone loves God gives you a better start to dating.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I agree. I concur. I think, I don't know, a relationship is interesting because you have to allow a period of time to actually know someone. So yes, to your point of it's been 6 months and all of that, but also at the same time, we can be so difficult. So I think I'm on the opposite thought process right now of just watching so many girls say no to a guy because of whatever their personal standards are. Definitely not necessarily character related, but just what they think they don't want, and then missing great opportunities. So there's so many pieces when it comes to relationship. Like you've got to give it a chance. Yeah. But then there are so many that stay to a detrimental point where it's like that's clearly done. Yeah. Right. And that's why discernment, the green, yellow, red light is so important because you have to know when the time is up, when that season is done, or if this is someone that you could actually walk through life with. Yeah.
So there are some foundational things then to even start the dating process, to even look for someone like the foundational. Number one, they love God. Yeah. And let me just speak for the fellas. Yeah. Number one, you love God. Number two, you're working on you. Right. Like I remember just exposing my heart to teaching character development materials, spiritual development materials. Like I felt I was in preparation mode, even in my weaknesses. I believe you can outdo those spaces by what you expose yourself to. Yeah. So being human, we all gonna have weakness to the day we die. The question is, will we let them weaknesses lead us, or will we pursue God's presence, his word, materials, resources to outdo the weakness? Yeah. So I knew I wasn't perfect by any means, but I knew I was pursuing and developing things in my character. Yeah. So that's number one. That's number two, resources. Number three, man, you gotta have a job, bro. like have a job. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And you heard this is not a Bible verse. The idle mind is the devil's workshop. If you ain't doing something,
Yeah.
if you're not active, if you're not going to work, if you're not putting in 40, like what message does that send the girl?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as a man, like in your DNA as a man, you are wired to work. It's in your DNA. I do not have to convince a lion to hunt. A lazy lion will starve to death. Right? If you have a desire to date with the intention of being married, you gotta work. Because bills don't stop when shorty say I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A part of the responsibility of a man is to provide for his household.
Yeah.
So a work habit just don't kick in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You got to develop it before.
Yeah.
And I remember graduating college with a degree and could not find a job.
Yeah.
Brother, I put in applications everywhere and could not find a job.
And you said, give me a month. I'll work at McDonald's and give me a month and I'll be a manager, right? That's what I have to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I
but
knew
you didn't have to.
I didn't have
But
to. The
thank
Lord
God
provided.
for you for
But that was my motive. Like I was prepared to make sure I can do for you what needed to be done as a husband. Mm-hmm. I wasn't taught that.
Right.
There was no. Honestly, I had two manly examples in my life who worked hard, but I wasn't taught that was the intention of being a provider.
But you put yourself in the position to learn, which is why it's so essential to watch people, because you did have some character things. Mm-hmm. I mean, we both did, but yours just felt a little heavier than mine. Mm-hmm.
You judging me?
No, because we talked about forgiveness. Sure. That's been done. Right now we're in a free space, a grace space, if you will. But what you were walking through is difficult for me, for sure.
Yeah.
And a major part of that was just a lack of maturity, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what was so powerful to me was how you got up from it. It wasn't how you stayed in it. It wasn't how you continued on with the same thing over and over. It was that you were choosing to change and really live that out in front of me. So that's the tricky part, because some of us will just allow ourselves to be in a bad situation and allow it to happen over and over. Yeah. But if you see true character change, and it isn't very often, so it's powerful, because I think a big thing for a female is if you can look at this guy and see who they're going to be. I mean, that's what kept me through it. I knew who you were going to be. I knew how you were gifted. I knew how God wired you. I knew what your true desires were. And I knew that you had a little trip up, a couple little trip ups. Yeah. And what do we do in those cases? Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it really, there's such a measure of what the trip ups could be. It was nothing addictive. It was nothing that was detrimental to me. Yeah. Right. You have to be very aware of what's happening. But with that, also recognizing the season of life you're in. Yeah. Probably that individual has never actually been in love with someone or truly been pursuing a future marriage relationship. And so you just there has to be forgiveness. Again, we've covered it, but there has to be this allowance of grace and understanding as you're both growing. Yeah. And I mean, we were really growing. We were young. And I was 18 years old. Yeah. So, and then y'all know our story, but it took 3.5 years. So in that 3.5 years, you were dealing with the frustration of the no. And I was dealing with the fighting for us, right? It was really good for us. I wouldn't suggest it to anyone. It wasn't
But that was
fun.
our circumstances, our story.
It wasn't fun. Yeah. But I know that it was really powerful for us because we had to choose right away. Like, are we in this or not? Do we love each other actually? Absolutely. Or not?
And that's the key too. Whatever your dating journey is, if God is at the center, it'll work itself out. Yeah. It's when you do what you want to do, how you want to do it, is where everything get messed up. Yeah. So if there's repeated behavior in the relationship, it doesn't mean you have to stay for it, especially if he's not taking steps of repentance,
changing,
help. Yo, man, I know I did this, but I just met with a pastor, so we meet every Thursday. Yes, right. Yeah. So if there's repeated toxic behavior, right, it's probably not the dating relationship you want to be
absolutely. I mean, accountability, the actual responsibility. We talk about this, but it's the ability to respond, right? Ownership, like those are huge pieces in character.
Yeah.
It's not just that you're cute or you're funny or we enjoy doing the same things.
Absolutely.
Those are those are good.
Yeah.
Those are just kind of like the icing on the cake.
Yeah. And that's important too, because you wonder, and this is, y'all, you want to develop skills that's going to help in your marriage. So when we're just in our feelings, you don't gather skills.
Yeah.
Because when you, like, if you really love somebody, like agape love, like we talked about in episode 4, if you truly agape someone, you are willing to become what you need for that person.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are some skills, like if you know you come from a traumatic circumstance, sexual abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, and your desire to date at 20, you cannot be naive to think that those things will not show up in a dating relationship. So one way to get a skill to prepare you is go to counseling.
Yeah.
Ask for help. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's bigger than how I feel. I want to have some skills for dating.
Yeah.
Maybe you are in the one night hookup piece phase in your life.
Oh.
No, for real. People think this cool. This is legit.
Deliver them, Lord.
This is legit, for real. Like one night stands is like a thing.
That is too much for me.
And here's the thing. And if you don't believe that you have a enemy called the devil, you're deceived.
Yeah.
Why? Because in those one night stands, that release is not going to heal you long term. Yeah. Everything about Satan is short term gratification.
Yeah.
God is into long term development.
Yeah.
So that one night might feel good for the moment, but the detrimental consequences is what is not rapped about. There's no movies about it. There's no songs about it. Ain't no IG accounts about it. Right. And then people knock purity culture.
Yeah.
One of the greatest gifts you gave me on our wedding night is that you were a virgin when we got married.
Yeah.
I can't even thank you and God enough that you were willing to be what you needed to be for your future husband.
Yeah.
That you weren't doing that because no, you loved God and you wanted to do. And we still tell our players this. You think you got it good because of what you have.
Yeah.
But you're not experiencing God's best until you do it God's way.
Yeah.
Right? When you do it God's way, even though it might seem like it hurts. Well, I want it now. Like, Mom, you don't understand. I love him at 18. You don't love nobody.
Well, I did love you.
I know you did love me. Funny.
Okay. Well, there are disclaimers then.
So
some of y'all are rapping. That's why you need to go back to the podcast of Agape to really figure out what love is.
Yeah. And so there's this breathing.
Yeah.
There's this let me chill.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that I can develop and become what I need in preparation for marriage.
Yeah.
That should be the goal. And if you listen to this and that's not your goal, then you might stay in a cycle of pain through dating.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I want you to jump in after I say this. The principles of relationship never change. Ever. The interaction between a man and a woman, when it comes to dating, to engagement, to marriage, they don't change no matter the color of your skin, the culture you live in, what side of the world you're planted in. There are foundational principles of relationship that won't never change. The quicker you can learn those will never change. Sorry.
Oh, no. I said, no, that's right. It won't ever change.
Right.
Yeah.
The quicker you learn those principles, because God is principled. He's not emotional. He respects our emotions, but he's very principled. The quicker you can get those in dating, die into yourself. If you're not prepared to die to yourself now, you will not be effective in a marriage. If you're not willing to sacrifice for what you want later and give up what you want now, you won't be or have a successful marriage.
Yeah.
Those principles starts now, right? Hard work starts now.
Yeah.
Developing agape love starts now. Working on your relationship with the Lord starts right now.
Yeah.
The quicker you can get them principles, that's how you add value in every relationship.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Well, I'm not in the dating stage, so it's pretty easy for me. But I think actually we are. I think even to take it back to that, just truly you hear this cliche statement all the time, but never stop dating your spouse. Thank God I don't have to pick through guys again. That's no fun. But as far as like really just keeping that time and that, I guess just to all of our married couples listening, that you really should make a space for one another. You really should be intentional about your time. And
that's good.
And if you have kids, getting away from them. I love them. But that is so beneficial. It's more beneficial for them than you think. Even though it's not fun, it's never fun for me when we leave or go on a trip.
Yeah.
It's always hard for me to leave. But then when we're there, I want to stay. And then when we're there, you're ready to come home. It's never hard for you to leave.
About the third day,
so
I start struggling.
It's good for us to like have those seasons of life.
I agree.
But I would say a major takeaway for young women is this is something I will say until I'm purple in the face, but
or
being sure. I was like, what? I forgot. But being sure that you truly do not try to dress. I mean dress spiritually like someone else, right? Yeah, physically too, because why? What's the point of all of that?
Podcast.
But the truth is clothing yourself in what God has called us to and actually being yourself, because you don't want to get missed. If there is someone looking, and there is someone looking for you specifically, there's no reason to try and be like someone else and fight for the same personality or the same style or the same look, the same face, the same whatever we're trying to strive for. Yeah. And just recognize like there is. I just think this is so funny. You look at couples and there are some couples that you're like, what the heck? How did that happen? How did these two get together? Yeah. Right. And I sure hope that's not what you guys think about us, actually. Anyway, but you
too late now. You got me.
See a couple. No, I meant opposite.
I know. I'm kidding.
But you see a couple, and it is interesting. How does that happen?
Yeah.
It's because there are more important things, right? It's actually refreshing to see that. Yeah. Because of course, the cuter the couple, the more shallow they could be, right? Yeah. So there's so many pieces, but there is someone looking for your body shape, your personality, your quirks, your every piece of you that seems to get in our head, especially as women, and insecurities. And like, don't let that build up and be what someone sees you clothed as. Yeah. But instead choose everything godly. Choose absolutely to understand that you're in a relationship with him first. There used to be this, I'm sure there still is this book, but like I'm dating Jesus or something. I don't know. I went to Christian University and we all knew all of the books, but that is actually so true. If you spend time working on you, it's the same for men, but if you spend time with Jesus working on you, your relationship is going to be that much like that more just beautiful. Yeah, I agree. Right? That's how you get to that. It's not, it doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen overnight. It's this intentional pouring out of, this is who, die to yourself. This is who I choose to be. This is who God has called me to be without someone else coming in. It's just messier. Yeah, absolutely. So if you can work on you first, there's no one's preparing you to get married, but you work on you first with the Lord. And then when he comes in, it'll be way easier for you to see him. Yeah, that's true. Right. And for you to understand if the desires line up and his character and his calling and your calling, it'll be so much easier than just winging it. Yeah.
And I echo that for the guys too. Yeah. Know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Know exactly what if you spending time with the Lord, you're in prayer, you're around godly men, you maybe, be in a space where you see godly marriages, not perfect marriages. Yeah. You will begin to understand what type of woman you want. Right, fellas? So you got to know what you're looking for. Yeah. It ain't based on Love and Hip Hop. It's not based on Love is Blind, The Bachelor. Like those are written scripts on how to do relationship. Yeah. They never work. And speaking of going to a Christian university, we did, but we know a lot of people who sat under the same teaching, went to the same chapels on the same campus and ended up divorced. Yeah. Right. So the environment that you're in matters, but the environment in you matters most.
That's right. Yeah.
And
it's your motives, your heart, your relationship with the Lord. And I remember thinking that my senior year of college, we weren't engaged yet. And I just remember thinking, like, I knew it was coming. I knew that was the goal, right? And how do you prepare? And it was so beautiful for me because I did have the opposition from my family. Yeah. That, again, not fun, but it was, and that wasn't healthy to a certain point. Yeah. But it was healthy for me as far as knowing what I wanted and recognizing that if there was something I could do, it was preparing myself for my husband, whoever he was going to be. Right.
Yeah. And that preparation, when you begin it, might not have a person in mind.
Right.
But if you desire to be married, that preparation helps you for who will be in mind.
Yeah, it's good.
Right. And so here we go. Couple minutes left, babe. Just dating. Number 1, know who you are.
Yeah.
Number 2, know whose you are.
Yeah.
Number 3, date to character. Number 4, whatever trauma you dealing with, you're going to take into the relationship.
Yeah.
So ask for help.
Yeah.
Right. Number 5, if we got another principle, you have, this might not be in order.
Yeah.
You got to keep God in your marriage.
Yeah.
In your relationship. Yeah, especially your dating relationship. Like whatever boundaries you have, keep them. Don't compromise them because of how you feel. That feeling might change. Come on, y'all.
I mean, and I know this was the recap. I'm like, I have one more thing. But my thought is, like, even when we say that just cheesy idea of dating Jesus, to think of how rewarding it is when you actually do that. It is the strongest foundation for a relationship.
It is.
Because you are, the desire that God has is that we're in relationship with him. That's always been the plan. So when I can spend time with him, when I can truly hear his voice, when I can truly determine, like, this is the call for my life and walk through all of it, it really does add such a beautiful dimension when someone else is doing that too. So do for others what you desire to be done for you, right?
That's so good.
Become that. Because if you want a godly man, you can't not be a godly woman.
Yeah, because you attract who you are.
Yeah. Character attracts character.
That's right.
So if you're shocked at who you're dating, I would look in the mirror because there's a reason.
In closing, we're not talking about being perfect. We're talking about being consistent.
Yeah.
Just pursue what's right.
Yeah.
Just read your Bible, pray, be in community with others. Like, we're talking about at least going after God.
Yeah, but don't fake it. It's not fair to the other person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Covenant Culture Podcast.
Yeah.
Thank y'all once again for hanging with us, tuning in with us. We're grateful for you. And for those who can't see, we're doing the end of our handshake. Hey, thank y'all for tapping in. We love y'all. See y'all next week.
Bye.
Peace.